Hello, in this video, you will have a vision for what a man must do in 2020. The reason I'm sharing this video with you is that recent studies concluded these are the most preferred behaviors that a man should do. I will explain all the ways you can feel good and positive with the people around you. Start learning all these steps and you will succeed in every aspect of your life for 2020. In this video, Jane Lim from He Spoke Style channel is showing the basics of how to learn how to tie a bow tie step by step.
And it has a hook in the back that allows you to take the two halves apart. This method is actually one that Nicholas, the owner of Le Nœud Papillon, teaches, and I am going to show you how it's done. Okay, first thing we're going to do is to disconnect the two halves, and then we're going to move the hook end to the left and the slider end to the right. Next, we're going to fold the hook end over to start making the bow. Now, when you do this, you want to fold it over a little less than the complete bow will be, because later on, when we tighten it, it will actually expand just a little to the size that we want. Next, we're going to fold over the other side and make it the same size, and then place it on top of the other piece. Now grab it with both hands and flip it over. Next, put your index finger of your right hand towards the center of the bow, take the hook end, and fold it up towards the center like so. Now hold the hook end in place with your right hand and flip the bow over. Bring it up, and now you can see that we actually have our bow starting to form. Now with both thumbs holding the hook end, we're going to take the bow, flip it over towards us, and bring the hook end up once more. Now with your left hand, hold the hook end in the center, fold the right part of the bow over, and hold them both in place with your left hand. Next, fold the slider end up and bring the right side of the bow back down. Now take the hook end and move it over the slider end, then bring the slider end around and thread it back under the loop end. Then we're going to tie it off and turn it over and see how we did. Now at this point, if your bow does not look perfect, that's totally fine. Now is the time we're going to adjust it to how we want it to look. You can move the knot over, you can add a dimple in, and the final thing that I like to do is to give it a really firm pull and tighten the knot. I prefer a tight knot over one that is loose. And there you have it, perfectly tied and ready to be worn.
In this video, Jeff from the Style OG channel gives basics tips for men on how and where to apply cologne correctly.
Being the neck and the wrist. Now take the cologne 3 to 6 inches away from the post point, spray a couple times. There you have it. Moving right along to number 5 on the list. Now after you've applied the cologne, I'm going to advise against rubbing it into your skin. Some people do like to do that. But in my opinion, although it doesn't destroy the cologne, it tends to alter the top note. So you're not getting the most out of the scent, in my opinion. Okay, so my last tip on how and where to apply cologne is that we have to realize that most of the time, it's not going to last the whole day. If you find it wearing off in the late afternoon or evening, instead of reapplying it completely, I'm going to suggest you spray it on your wrist. That'll take you throughout the rest of the night.
In this video, Jeff Hilliard channel will gives basics tips on how to light a charcoal chimney. In this video from Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield channel, we'll give basics tips for men on enjoyed the company of old
and
people.
emotionally as well. Here are some tips to help you manage these challenges while taking care of yourself too. Have a heart-to-heart. Talk to your parents about their future and what they want. Remember, for many older folks, losing independence can be dramatic. Try and carry out their wishes as best you can while making sure they're safe. Take it slow. Being able to accept small amounts of help will actually allow them to feel more independent longer, and that's good for them emotionally. Do your homework. Understand their health issues, health coverage, and medical bills. Knowing what kind of coverage they have and what they need will help you make good decisions. Keeping a schedule of their medications will help you manage their care more easily. Get outside help. There are lots of resources available to help you understand how everything works. Paperwork, forms, Medicare, Medicaid, finances. The list is long, but help is just around the corner.
In this video from Dating and Relationship channel, we'll give basics tips for men on Ask a Woman on a
Asking
Date.
her for a date. Before asking her out for a date, try to have some conversation together. This will be an opportunity for you to discover if your personalities and ideas are attuned with each other before you do decide to ask her out for a date. When calling through the phone, don't forget to mention to her the conversations you had. This will give her the impression that you do listen, making her feel important. Then if you feel that it is time to ask her, go ahead, ask gently, not in a demanding manner. Ask when you both are alone. Never ask a girl out on a date in front of others, like her friends. If she says no, you will both be embarrassed. During the date, look good, be neat. Put extra effort to the way you look. Take the time, be well groomed, smell nice, and choose your clothes well. It must correspond to the place with which your date is set. Make a good impression so you can charm her and she can be proud of you. Do not be late. Prepare for the big day ahead. Make the necessary reservations and planning for your date. If you have planned for it, she will be impressed that you did put some effort on your night together. Be sure that during the big day you have no appointments so you won't be cramming, and be on time. Be polite. Be sure to make her feel good by complimenting the way she looks. And when seated at the table, turn your cell phone off. This will signal to her that you are very much interested in your moment together. Say her name. Make it a point to say her name every so often in your conversations to make her feel at ease and special. Smile. Aside from putting up a positive attitude, your smile is an indication that you are happy to be with her. Have a sense of humor. Making a woman laugh means you have won half your battle. This means that she is having a nice time and creates a positive atmosphere. This will be an occasion she would remember because she had fun. Be attentive. Listen to what she has to say, do not interrupt. Let her finish before you state your opinion and make eye contact. Be honest. Let her get to know you by telling her what you do and what interests you. If she does not like you for who you are, then she is not worth your time. Show interest in her too, by asking her about her work, hobbies, and her likes. Be sensible and honest in initiating such conversations. Relax. Do not worry that your date is not having a good time. Go ahead and ask her. Just manage yourself well and enjoy the evening. Keep the conversations open and ask questions. Be sincere. Do not pretend. Be yourself. Pretending to be somebody that you're not will not work in the long run. The truth will always come out sooner or later. It is a rewarding feeling if someone is drawn to you for who you really are. Never compare. It will be very unfair of you if you compare your date to your past girlfriend. Keep in mind that she is a totally different person with her own personality. Take the time to discover her, you might be pleased if you do. Comparing won't get you anywhere. Never tell your date about the breakup of a previous relationship. Keep in mind that you asked her out so you both could have fun together. She is not your therapist, so do not recount your past relationship. Bury the past and move on. Here is a woman in front of you who is interested to know you more. Get to know her too, initiate a conversation that could lead to a common interest. Enjoy. Dating should be exciting and relaxing. A woman can sense if you are enjoying your time with her or not. Don't stress yourself trying so hard to make it the perfect date because it won't be. But you both can enjoy it. After all, you did invite her out because you liked her in the first place. Be spontaneous and have fun.
In this video, David Sabine from David Sabine channel will give basics tips for man on ironing in general, particularly a shirt. In this video, Morrison from PJ Morrison channel will give basics tips for man on crack. Open your car manual and actually read it. In this video from How to DIY channel, we'll give basics tips for man on learn to stop talking about yourself.
How to stop talking about yourself. Humans talk about themselves roughly 30 to 40% of the time. That's a lot. Studies have shown that talking about ourselves is strongly associated with increased activity in the mesolimbic dopamine system, the same part of our brain that experiences pleasure through things like food, sex, and money. The good news is, knowing how our brains work and react is half the battle. Once you know the why, you can start controlling the how. 1. Recognizing your behavior. Watch your vocabulary. If you're using the words I, me, and my in your conversation, then you may not be having a conversation. You may only be talking about yourself. Actively concentrate on this when you're speaking to others. After all, the only way to stop a behavior is to recognize it. An exception would be statements such as I agree, or I hear what you're saying, or I would suggest approaching the issue this way. Using appropriate I statements show you're engaged and interested, and recognize conversations are a two-way street. A great way to remember this is to keep a rubber band around your wrist. Every time you catch yourself using any of these words, slap the rubber band. It may hurt a little, but it's a proven psychological method. 2. Start practicing these steps when conversing with friends. Ask them to tell you if you've missed a step, as friends will always be the most supportive. Pay attention to whose story it is. If a person is telling you a story about something that happened to him, remember that it's their story, not yours. Remember, he's sharing something that's important to him. Resist shifting the focus to you. This transition to the next phase is natural. After learning not to use I, me, and mine, and instead replace them with you and yours, it's only natural to work on conversational transitions. It's easy to fall into the trap of shifting focus to yourself. If your friend's telling you about her new SUV and how it makes her feel safe, don't immediately begin talking about how you prefer a more elegant vehicle and then go off about your Mercedes. Instead, try saying something like, "That's interesting. I prefer the safety, style, and elegance of a sedan. Do you think SUVs are safer than sedans?" This shows you're engaged and curious about your friend's opinion. Keep references to yourself brief. Sometimes within the course of the conversation, it's impossible not to talk about yourself. That's natural, however, you shouldn't be talking about yourself 100% of the time, yet you should be listening 100% of the time. When this happens, try redirecting the conversation away from yourself and putting the subject back on your conversation partner. For instance, if your friend asks what kind of car you drive, you may say something like, "I drive a hybrid. It really saves on gas and there are other perks like rebates and no parking meter fees." Have you ever thought about owning one? This response keeps your position brief and throws the question back to your friend. In doing so, you've made your friend the conversation's gatekeeper. Find constructive ways to get your thoughts and opinions heard. It's important to be a good and active listener, but you need to express your own thoughts and opinions, too. If you are trying to lessen talking about yourself, try things like journaling, open mic events, and submitting essays or reports, which may provide the opportunity. This also encourages you to focus thoughtfully on what you want to say, rather than talking just for the sake of it.
In this video from Ali Umolink's channel, we'll give basics tips for men on gift ideas for your
First thing I would recommend getting that
girlfriends.
special woman in your life is a spa day. I personally would be so grateful if someone gave me a gift certificate because I love skincare. Second gift idea is a goodie basket of self-care items. Face mask, under eye mask, teeth whiteners, loofahs, bath bombs. That's always a really, really good idea. Third idea is pay one of her bills. Just because you take us to dinner all the time doesn't mean our credit card is paid off. Trying to get out of debt, no one's saying. Fourth idea, a really, really, really nice sweater. You can get sweaters, honestly guys, from anywhere, but it can't be like a super thin, dingy sweater. It has to be like a super thick one. To be honest, you can go in your closet and give her one of yours. She would probably be so grateful. For the next idea, you could always just get her a gift certificate to a hair salon. But if she's like me, she's not gonna want that because I literally do this mess by myself. I find no point currently in paying someone to manage my mess when I don't even know what I want to do with it. But honestly, a gift certificate to a hair salon is always a good idea. 10 out of 10 would recommend that. For the next idea, you could get her a trip to somewhere that she really, really likes. I mentioned this in my guys video, but us girls like to go places too, and we just want our alone time. If you are dating someone who's a mother, you could always just get her a sitter, or even you could offer to take the kids off her hands for a day. A really nice meal is another gift idea. It'd be really nice if you like make her favorite dinner with like wine or liquor or dessert. Just go all out, show her you care, have the kids sent away for the weekend, and just have a good time. Girls are not that complicated, contrary to what you believe. We really just want simple things. Love. We all just want love. It is 2020. It is time for y'all to act right. I'm so dumb. My brain is honestly not here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this video before it becomes any worse. I will see you guys in the next video.